So yeah, let's start properly. My name's Andy Crowley, perhaps better known as Andy Guitar on that there YouTube. I've been doing this job now like 16 years, so I think the thing I'm most proudest of is that I'm actually still doing it and still enjoying it. Part of that is I get to work with some great people. This is my good friend Fraser. Fraser's a great guitarist in his own right. He helps me edit my videos, as does Andrew, who sat down there filming me as well. Because I'm a content creator, which didn't exist when I was first learning guitar. And we've spent the last 3 hours interviewing as many people or as many guitar luthiers, pedal makers, people from Boss, various other people. And I'll be honest, it's nothing short of inspiring every time. The main reason I'm sat here today to do this is I want this guitar show to keep coming back every year and just get bigger and better. I'm here with Fraser. We're at the Brighton Guitar Show. This is your first time here, Fraser. What are you looking forward to most today? Because I've been to this a couple of times before, and it's one of my favourite weekends of the year. What are you looking forward to today, having been a bit more new to this?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, building on from the Oxford Guitar Show, you know, seeing people that we recognise from there is a really nice thing. That's going to be awesome. But then also, I guess this is slightly more established, having been here for a couple more years. So we got Boss, for example, and, you know, massive company, but it's actually going to be really interesting just to see what they have to say, like, you know, how they kind of represent themselves. But then there's obviously a ton of, you know, independent people.
Luthiers, pedal makers, a bit of everything, even more events-based stuff like guitar breaks. We're going to be chatting to everyone, see what we get and share it with you guys. Let's see what happens.
Let's do it.
Jarvis, how you doing, man? You well?
You all right?
What brings you down this way all the way from St. Leonard's?
What are the guitars, I imagine?
I imagine so.
Yeah, the sort of mutual interest.
Of course, Jarvis has done quite a few courses now for our website and got involved in various things.
Many years.
But you are quite an advocate of luthiers and small business owners building the quirkier, more unique stuff. Where does all that come from?
Oh, I mean, I love old vintage Fenders and Gibsons and stuff, but I think, you know, sometimes it's that you lack a bit of the variation that you might want something a bit more personalised, or, you know, and it's just nice to support, you know, like actual people rather than just corporation.
Big corporation.
Indeed.
It's true. So it's a bit of, like that sort of personal approach and just having something, you know, like supporting actual makers and, you know, craftsmen rather than, you know, corporations. I think that's kind of a bit of it. But, you know, and just the love of guitars, right? You know.
Absolutely, yeah. And the stories behind all of these things, which I'm looking forward to hearing as well.
These are like you're not going to find these ones on a...
Indeed.
You know what I mean? Like, for example, like, you're not going to see crazy stuff like this or from Fender. So it's...
and these didn't exist when we were all first learning guitar as well.
This is it. It's new.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, we had like a pretty limited selection, really.
Really limited.
Yeah. You know.
Which was good in a way, because it probably made us practice more rather than thinking, I just need to buy another guitar or another pedal.
Spending hours on YouTube watching.
Well, where do you feel about how you learned guitar before YouTube? I presume it's before a lot of the internet stuff, because it was for me.
Yeah.
In-person teaching, I imagine, and tab. How does that compare, the benefits of that versus what we have with YouTube these days?
Well, it's the complete opposite, right? Isn't that like when we grew up, information was hard to find.
Yes,
was scarce. And we had to have like a good teacher, or like, you know, DVDs were like, they were fucking expensive, right?
Yeah,
they were like, you know, like 50, 60 quid or whatever.
And you had to subscribe to guitar magazines to even get the ads to hear about it.
I grew up in formals. It's like I couldn't even really, like, there weren't shops that sold. Like maybe in Sheffield, they might have had guitars.
A little bit, but not many.
But like, I literally, like, I'd have to go up to Plymouth or something, you know, like go an hour on the train just to get the resources. Or for me, it was all like the tab books, right? You buy the album, you'd be into like I got the Kid A one or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like an album drops, and you're like, this is amazing. Tab book comes out a few months later, so it's more like that kind of peer to peer. You know, someone learns a riff, show me the riff. It was more like that. Whereas these days, it's the opposite problem of like, well, you have it, I know it. You know, if you teach people, go like, oh, well, there's too many there's too much information, right?
Yeah, there is a minute.
To look.
I get that from your I follow you on Instagram, and I always really like your sort of like your approach to teaching, because you just like sometimes you just like just do this.
Yes.
Watch my fingers and just play like this, and some of that like direct approach feels like we're in the room together.
Yeah.
If you do, when you're sharing guitar with someone rather than I really enjoy that.
Yeah. Just be like, I think that's what I try and. Like YouTube, not YouTube, so Instagram can be a little bit more, like without getting into the whole like business side of it, it's like a lot of people will do that and they're trying to drag them to YouTube or to their website or whatever. So
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, it's just like everyone has a different, like what they're trying to do or like how, whereas I'm trying to go a bit more like, here's all the information. I'm not trying to gatekeep it on Instagram particularly.
That's it.
And then hope that filters through across. But again, it's just like, there's too much information these days.
It can be.
They have to like pick someone like that they trust, or they're into you or me or whoever. I like
People learn from people. It doesn't, that hasn't changed. No matter how much technology's changed.
Yeah.
Apart from maybe AI, but let's not get into that. I did want to ask you, so I'm doing a clinic shortly about working out songs by ear.
Oh, cool.
I was talking to some people at the show, and a lot of people think I'm mad doing that in front of an audience. They're thinking I'm absolutely crazy. What do you find have been the benefits of like working out songs by ear training? How does that improve your solos, all that kind of?
That's massive. I mean, it's everything, right? The thing is, like,
scary too, right?
Yeah, I think you need to be able to trust your ear, right, to a certain degree. So if you're, I mean, again, like talking about teaching, you get a lot of players who like have the mechanics down, but haven't developed their ear, right? You see this a lot with young kids who get technically very impressive quite quick. You see some 16-year-old kid and they're fucking blazing, and you're like, whoa, right? And they're like just all over it. And I'm like, I can't play that quick. I've been playing for like 30 years. And then you'll be like, oh,
play something else.
Yeah, play me a triad. Like something really simple, like what's a 1-4-5 in A? And they couldn't even tell you.
Or put on a different style of music that they're not used to, should be in the wheelhouse but isn't, and go play along to that.
Whereas like if you've got a good ear and say you're not even that mechanically adept, but you've got like you've got a bit of musicality. Let's use these cliched kind of.
That's true.
Like then like you can probably play along with not anything, but you can adapt to situations.
Most stuff.
We all have that one friend who has an amazing ear by natural way.
And those are the people who go far, right?
They tend to be the people that stick with it.
Yeah.
In my experience, that's the case. But I mostly know that because my sister was grade 8 at flute and played in orchestra and things. Purely from sight reading, because that's what's expected in orchestras and things, right? You can't play by ear in an orchestra, you play what's written down. But once all that excuse to play stopped, she didn't particularly play for herself because there's no instinct that she wanted to.
It's the complete opposite end of the spectrum, right? So you got like classical, which is just like they can only play when there's music in front of them. And then you have guitarists who like this. The joke, right? How do you make a guitar player stop playing? Put a piece of music in front of them.
But a lot of learner guitar players.
Joke.
We even saw this at a jam last weekend. To get 3 or 4 acoustic guitar players who want to play songs to play together. This chord sheet comes out and they're all there with the glasses on and doing this, and I'm like, jam, get back. 3 chords and a bit of lead and everyone knows it, you know what I mean? And then build on what you want to do from that. But I think as the first thing people play, that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like music's about playing together, really. I mean, for some people it's not, but for most people, I think it's like, that's the fun part of it for me anyway, is engaging with other musicians and, so like, if it's all mechanics and all theoretical, then it's like you're missing a huge part of that, I think. So it is,
I think mechanics is a really good word. Like when people are just like, mechanical, everything about that is not what, we really aim.
Not what you like about the stuff you do like.
And perhaps being a bit less precious. So like you're saying, if you're jamming with a chord sheet, but you're worried of going off, or making a mistake as well, just don't be afraid of that.
But if something literally misreads the chord sheets, they'll never find their way back.
Yeah, right.
If they haven't got an instinct that they've developed.
A lot of the pressure, though, with what you're saying with that is that whole, like, that recorded nature, though, that kind of like that Instagram culture of being scared to participate in case you make a mistake, and that's recorded forever.
Yeah.
Look, I'm doing an ear training thing up there. I'm going to make loads of mistakes.
Yeah.
But
I'm just going to go like...
You know that it's fine, and it's like the world's not going to end, and it's just like it's part of the process. No one cares, right?
No.
Hopefully not.
We'll see.
We'll find out. Silly question to finish with. Oasis or Black Sabbath?
Oh, Black Sabbath.
Why?
I mean, I know you like Oasis. I mean, I liked Oasis when I was a kid, but then I grew up.
What's so great about Black Sabbath?
I'm not even that into Black Sabbath, really. They're okay.
Better than Oasis, though. God.
Yeah.
How many Black Sabbath songs can you name?
Probably about 4.
Yeah, we got to about 9 yesterday. I'll be honest, after 4, it took a while. We then rattled off 20 Oasis songs, and we'd missed out a lot of the hits.
Which I bet...
With Oasis, the reality is I played in an Oasis cover band when I was 14.
That's why you hate it. I'll be honest, our generation really especially, they're so massive. I mean, this reforming is like Beatles. It's so much bigger than the Beatles getting together, because I think Oasis sold more guitars than anyone's ever done.
Oh, it's massive.
90s bum.
Yeah. Look, I think we're a similar age. It's like, I was in my 40s.
29. But still.
Yeah, 32. So, like my formative years was that time.
Yeah.
It's like, it was...
You know it so instinctively.
Britpop, So
but, the Sabbath for the OGs. Ozzy has so many stories that who even cares if half of them are true? That when you've got the truth or the myth, print the myth. He's contributed so much to that culture, and in some ways, like Oasis, in many ways, kind of killed that rock star culture. I think because it just became so normalized, like they were like the audience.
Yes, yeah.
They were literally the same, cut from the same cloth. They weren't special in the special
they were the
singers. They were an every man, right? That's noisy time. So we're going to leave this room and we're going to set off for our clinic. Jarvis, thank you very much.
Nice to see you, man.
You too, man. I'm here with Matt from Boss. Matt, how are you?
I am good. Good to see you again, mate.
Good to see you too.
I only ever see you here.
That's the only reason I come. That's it, just to see you. And other wonderful people, and to check out what's new with Boss. So, what's new with Boss in 2025?
What's new with Boss? So, we've got a couple of things come round. So, one of the things, I guess, is a kind of mixture of stuff that's been out for a little while, maybe a year or so. But we thought we'd do an old versus new.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. Comparison stuff, that never goes down well with anyone on YouTube.
Well, we just wanted to tell a bit more of a story. So let's start with the 80s.
Go for it.
SDE 3000, absolutely iconic rack unit from the 80s. I guess kind of the iconic digital rack delay.
Yeah.
Van Halen, Steve Vai, Gilmour, Lukather, all had them in their rig. But do you really want a massive rack system? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. So we've made a compact version of it.
Amazing.
So this is basically everything that's in the rack unit in a compact pedal, full stereo, and it's got the iconic SDE modulation, which is like more of a kind of like triangle modulation, so it sounds a bit different to anything else. Full stereo, and then the unique thing here is it's actually got 2 delay lines, so you can kind of do this like big stereo Van Halen thing.
Yeah.
So we've got that. It's definitely worth coming and checking out.
Will do.
Of course, most people know the Space Echo.
Of course.
This has been out for a little while now, but we've got the compact and the bigger version of it. And then we thought we'd do a CE1. So most people have probably never seen the original 70s chorus or played one. And now recently we've done the preamp section. So the preamp section is kind of one of the most unique things about the chorus.
So I came across this in Paul David's video recently.
Yeah.
Because that's how John Frusciante drives his old Fender amps.
Yes. Okay.
And that's part of that.
So here's the magic selling pitch, right? So we spoke to John's tech when they played London last year. He said no matter what he does to his rig, the end of his rig is always this, and it's running in stereo, and it drives his Marshalls.
Yeah.
And whether it's on or off, the preamp is always on. So the preamp is the secret source to the Frusciante sound.
Yeah.
So we've done it in a compact pedal.
Gotcha. Okay.
So in RE mode on here, this is an analog, made in Japan preamp that's exactly the same as the CE1 preamp. So you buy this, you run that into the front of your Marshall, and you might get close to John Frusciante.
If you follow some of our lessons for John Frusciante and also dedicate your life, because he's what a player. What a player.
Well, it's the reason I'm here today. Probably.
Really?
Absolutely.
So you don't, what particular song or album was it?
I remember flicking through the music channels with my sister. Do you remember when, like, some people had Sky, we had Sky, and you'd flick up and down through the music channels? Californication, that music video. So I was about 12, I guess, at that point.
Yeah.
And then By the Way came out. I actually think By the Way is probably my favourite Chili Peppers album.
That was when they came back with a bang, because it was like Frusciante like rejoining the band, and it was like...
It was, that is the Frusciante album.
Yeah.
Okay? All the doo-wop stuff and the guitar sound and... Yeah.
I feel like they were bigger in the UK at that point as well. There was more of a Californication. It was maybe, they maybe didn't tour as much over in the UK. It was just the music video.
So
there you go.
That's always my thing. So that is it. And then I guess the last thing, which is just part of this setup, is the IR2.
Yeah, which I have. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I thought I might have.
Yeah, you
said
said
one,
one is great.
which is basically 11, 12 amps in one box, 2 channels. That is just an amp and cab simulator that you can then run into headphones, USB, into your interface, however you want. So this allows us to run all of this and then just hear it through a pair of headphones.
And there's 2 massive uses for that. One, it's got USB out, so it goes straight into your phone if you do want to get quick clips.
Yeah.
Also, we've been talking about digital amps versus real amps. Well, if I'm taking a valve amp somewhere at a show, I'm going to want a backup as well, just in case.
Yeah.
Or just in case someone doesn't want me to turn up my nice Victory amp to 10 or 11. You've got something that could have a silent stage to keep the sound man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's just a selection of some of the bits that we've got that are kind of new. Don't forget to check out Roland Store London. So we do have our own flagship Roland store now on London's iconic Denmark Street.
Fantastic.
Right.
So it's a two double shot.
Didn't know that,
2 floors. Everything we make is in one place. So if you want to come in, you're near to London, you can literally come and try everything. From synths, drum machines, pedals.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got everything.
Let's talk about guitar breaks.
Yes.
Obviously, I've done many of those over the past 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
I know about what a transformative effect that has on the people that attend and the experiences they have. What have you seen from that experience point of view, and why do you think people come to buy guitar breaks?
Well, I think they come for the different reasons, but they all leave with what they didn't expect.
Yeah, I agree.
The first thing I would say, a lot of people come thinking that they're going to develop their guitar playing, but that becomes the one aspect. The other one is about community. The other one is about confidence and communication, about meeting like-minded people. I had this wonderful experience some years ago. I had 2 guys turn up at the train station, and I picked them both up. And let's just say they came from different ends of the spectrum. Let's just say that culturally. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to get them in the car, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. And there was a little sort of uncomfortable silence for about 15 seconds. And then one of them said to the other one, so what sort of guitar strings do you use? And that was it. They were off, and they didn't stop talking to each other for the whole week. They were there for a whole week, and they became best buds. And it was that thing where, because you're not there to talk about anything other than the thing that you really love, your passion, which is guitar playing, once you meet other like-minded people, then this community is just blossomed. So, like all the people that's come along to your workshops, for example, they've all ended up hanging out, inviting us to parties.
Literally last week.
Literally last weekend, we were playing guitar together at a party.
That's what happens, and that doesn't happen. Even though I'm a YouTuber by trade, I know the advantage of real person in real life meeting not virtual meeting. The online stuff really keeps it going in the in-between times. I think that's really important. But it's very special to hear the stories of other people and then see the transformation when everyone's, even experienced players or some beginners, so nervous to play in front of even just playing next to people.
Well, so that thing about
and then being able to do it.
No, a lot of them are what you might consider, without being too condescending, that sort of bedroom player, or they sit at home.
Yeah.
They just play guitar by themselves, And so and I've always been a great believer in music is something that we all should do together. So getting people who've never played with other musicians before into the same room and then getting them, and then that Thursday night gig that we did in Italy.
Oh, yeah. That half the town ended up coming to. Because it turns out there's not a lot else on a Thursday in the middle of rural Italy.
That is very true. But there was actually some really emotional moments where people suddenly realised that they could communicate through their music.
Yeah.
And so Guitar Breaks is on the surface, is very much about let's all play guitar.
Yeah.
But underneath that, there's so many other things going on.
Yeah.
That it's actually, the great thing is the amount of people who come back.
Yeah.
So a lot of repeat people coming back and becoming part of that. And then they go off and do stuff by themselves. They'll go to gigs by themselves. They'll go to festivals by themselves. They'll come to things like this together.
Yeah.
I meet them. Like today, I've already met a whole bunch of guys all together, all saying, oh, great, yeah. Oh, we're coming to the next one, or we're doing that. So it's been really, it's life affirming. But also it just means that we all get to do something that we love.
Ian, thank you very much for talking to us, man. It's always good.
Pleasure, never a chore.
What's your name? What is your name?
My name is Paul Brett.
Paul,
good
to meet you, Paul.
Yeah,
It's good to
Andrew.
meet you. I'm Fraser, so it's really nice to meet you, Paul.
Next week, all right, I'm launching a new service in the UK called the British Music Vault. All right. Now, people that will know the music industry know in America there's an organisation called NAMM.
Yeah.
All right. And NAMM have been running since the 30s or whenever. But for the last 25 years, they've been running an oral history program called the NAMM Oral History Program, funnily enough, And when I wrote a book about George Harrison's Secret Winyard Guitar, myself and my friend Ray Russell, we went out to Los Angeles because that's where the story is based, and NAMM interviewed us, which was great. But I realised that, hang on a minute, there's all this massive material and this rich vein of historical information, which I used when I was researching the book. We don't really have an equivalent here in the UK, all right? So, launching next weekend on the 12th of July at the Academy of Contemporary Music. I'll be doing a speech there about the book, but then we'll be launching, British Music Vault, okay? And in there, over time, there's already some content that's going to be launched on that day, but we'll be interviewing people throughout the music industry at every level, all the genres, and it doesn't matter whether you're an interviewer or you're a luthier or you a session player, or you work in military bands, or anything and everything, whether you write books, whether you're a journalist, or a singer, or opera, or, anything,
Right.
And we'd be catching people's own stories when they have a story, about their life in music, and so they can tell their own story in their own words, in their own way, and so we get hopefully the truth. But then you build up this massive archive that people can just go and enjoy because they're a fan, maybe, or because they're interested, or they're researching for something in the future. And there'll be all that. And the other half to it, and this is what's kind of been really a good thing to do as well, which something NAMM actually don't do, but we're going to do. We've got this really interesting archive material for friends of ours that have been in the industry, maybe that have passed away and whatever, stuff that they've never published or never been seen before.
Wow.
And so a very good friend of ours was a bass player called Mo Foster, all right? And he's a bit of a legend as a bass player in the music industry over here. And he was on tour with Jeff Beck, 1980. He had his camcorder with him, all right? And he gave it to one of the crew. He said, "I'll film the gig for us," all right? So he got his own personal footage from his camcorder, never been released, of a tour that there's no video of anywhere.
Wow.
So we've released that, and that's gone stratospheric because, guys in America that were out there, and they're all going, "Oh, this is great, we've not seen this." So there's stuff like that. And we've got an interview that Mo did with George Harrison at Abbey Road, all right, during the anthology all right, period.
Yeah.
And it's just George on camera. It's fairly short, but it's quite significant what they're talking about. Never been seen before. So from the 12th of July, you guys and everybody else can see that stuff.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's what it's all about. We're very interested in talking to anybody and everybody at all levels of the music industry.
Right, so it gets put on a website or something, you access it? Or?
So we have a website, britishmusicvault.com. All right, so it's really a portal through to the YouTube channel where all the content is.
There you go.
And there'll be different playlists, you know, obviously British Music Vault on YouTube. But yeah, we'll be creating playlists. So if you're interested in bass players, there'll be a bass player or guitarists or stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've also got unique material. Like my friend Ray Russell, a session player since the 60s. He started off playing on Allwood Bond films. He took over from Vic Flick back in the day.
Wow.
And he was a session player, played with loads and loads of people, all the big names, all right? Yeah. And but he does we've done a little series of every guitar tells a story, where he's got these guitars that he started off playing on the James Bond stuff, Burns jazz, you know.
One of the most iconic guitar parts of all time.
Yeah, exactly,
Really is.
yeah.
World famous.
Yeah, and you know, a Fender Sonic Glue, you know, Strat that he's had, and who he's played on records and recordings with that. Yeah. That Gary Moore pinched off of him for a year when they were doing a charity gig.
Wow.
And then they had to go and beg it off of Gary again, you know.
Sorry, you dropped so many names here. I can't. It's such a mess.
I know, it's like, wow.
It is crazy. Yeah? I mean, you need to speak to Ray Russell, who is here, because he's a legend in the music industry.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I think the session player, to hear any stories from being a session player was so interesting, because it's a profession that I think is some people's dream, and it's like maybe something you never get into.
But it's a bit mysterious
It's
as well. No
mysterious.
one really knows.
That's true, yeah.
You know, we are fascinated. We want to know what happened in the room.
Yeah, I want to be
How
on the
was that?
wall.
Tone correct. How did that idea come about? How much was the guitar player versus what they were told by a producer? It seems like this is
That's
really important work you're doing, really.
Well, the thing is, I mean, in America, they got the tag, the Wrecking Crew. Some people don't like that tag, but that's what a lot of them got called, you know. And of course, they played on all the big, you know, tunes in Hollywood during that time, you know, from Sinatra to the Beach Boys, you know, the Monkees, everybody, you know. But our guys here were doing exactly the same thing here in the UK during the same period of time, and they're equally prolific, and then played on all the big sessions. I mean, you know, dropping names again with Ray. I mean, Tina Turner, Heaven 17, you know, George Harrison. I mean, he's done stuff with all the Beatles. He's done so much stuff over Phil Collins, you know, Top of the Pops, and stuff like that. You know,
That's outstanding.
it was there was a program called Rock Follies, which was a program in sort of like the 80s, and it was about music, you know. And of course, he was in the band, Rock Follies, and the women that led the band became quite famous, you know. So yeah, all this archive material, we can't lose it, can we?
No, absolutely not.
We've got to keep it.
So I've got to. It needs preserving, otherwise it does get lost.
yeah.
I have to ask you though, what inspired? So this is your book. Why this guitar? Why this book?
Okay, so this is Finding Fretless, all right? Okay, by me, Paul Brett. Okay, this guitar here, Ray Russell was given this by George Harrison, all right, recording in 1985, doing a film session for a film called Water, all right? Now, George said, you're getting more out of this guitar, Ray, than I am. Why don't you have it? So you don't turn a Beatle down, do you?
Of course, no.
But the really cool thing about this is a fretless guitar.
Yeah.
It not only is a fretless guitar, it is the first electric fretless guitar ever made.
Wow.
1967 in Riverside, California. Oh, wow. All right. By a company called Bartell of California that was only around for a few years. Yeah. He was, I think they was having a board meeting, a few beers, and maybe a little bit of smoke.
Well, something else.
Yeah. And he said, why don't we make an electric fretless guitar? And they went, don't be silly. Who wants that, you know? Yeah. So they made this one, and this was the original prototype, and we reasonably know it was a prototype because they used the part spin to put things together. So the tailpiece is a 12-string tailpiece.
Right.
No, the tuners were mismatched. Yeah. They just, yeah. But even more important, right, the guy that made and designed this is a guy called Paul Barth. Everyone goes, who? All right. Paul Barth, his history goes right back to the very origins of the electric guitar. Wow. He and his buddy, George Beecham, all right, they created the horseshoe pickup, which is known as the pickup that was put into the Rickenbacker frying pan, which is regarded as the world's first electric guitar. A bit controversial, some people say.
Of course, no, who was there, but yeah.
There's a history, but so that guitar links right back to the very origins of the electric guitar. And Paul Barth, his family still live in Laguna Beach in California. Right. His daughter is now about 85, I think now. She used to work at the Rickenbacker factory and has told me all these great stories, about her father and everything. And Les Paul was a regular dinner guest around at the Barth family home. Okay. Paul Barth helped Leo Fender with the original jigs for his first line of Firecasters and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Paul Barth took over from Paul Bigsby Magnetone guitars, all right, and started making these great guitars for Magnetone at the time. And the guitars that they made at Bart's Hill when he teamed up with a guy called Ted Peckles in California, I was only around for 4 years, but their guitars ended up in the hands of Hendrix, Frank Zappa. In fact, Frank Zappa, there's recordings of him playing the fretless that he got.
Yeah, wow.
There's 7 tracks, and that's on the Finding Fretless website, findingfretless.com.
Okay.
Right? And you can see all those tracks and listen to them and go, fretless. Didn't know that,
Yeah.
And it's quite controversial because when George Harrison brought the fretless back from California, about 9 months later, they're in the recording studios at Abbey Road doing the White Album, all right? And there's an interview with Kenny Everett talking to John Lennon. And John Lennon's noodling away and his weird sound. And he goes, what kind of guitar is that you're playing? It's a fretless guitar. So we know the guitar was in Abbey Road on 6th of June 1968 while they're doing the White Album. And controversially, and a lot of people deny this, we believe that fretless guitar was used on a couple of tracks, not as the lead guitar, but as an effect guitar, on Happiness is a Warm Gun and Helter Skelter, possibly some other tracks. But there's a lot of fretless experts that have listened to that album without being prompted and say, can you identify what tracks are fretless on? And they've all gone, wow, didn't know that, So very cool stories and, history of the guitar and everything. So, nice.
Your knowledge is outstanding. That was amazing. Like, you're picking names and dates. And
we got to scratch the surface.
That's why you got the YouTube channel and you got the book, and all this stuff needs preserving, you know what I mean, so that it lives on. It's important.
That's the plan, yes.
That sounds exciting. There you go. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you for sharing that one. That was amazing.
British Music Bowl. Check them out.
Yes. Thank you so much. That was so cool. Yeah.
So I'm with Andy from Funny Little Boxes. Fraser met Andy at the Oxfordshire Guitar Show.
Indeed.
Basically, I want to hear what these things sound like, because these seem really cool. Andy, talk us through what we have here.
All right, so I'm in a weird niche of making pedals that are inspired by particular bands or albums. So the 1991 is inspired by Pearl Jam's first album. The Skeleton Key is inspired by the general guitar tones of Queens of the Stone Age. The Dirt is inspired by Alice in Chains' album Dirt, and then the Caught by the Fuzz is inspired by the Supergrass song of the same name. They all do a lot more than that, but that's the basic gist. If kind of as a description of the tonal palette of the things, the 1991 is very mid-forward. There's not a lot in the low end, and it's very sparkly in the top. It's quite gainy. If you think Tube Screamer into Marshall JCM 800, that's the sonic blueprint of it, if you like. The Dirt kind of is...
As a pedal platform as well, a clean amp, that would do both of those things, basically.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's kind of all of that in one. It's that what I do is rather than taking a circuit that exists and modifying it I start with the sound.
Yeah.
So I listen to the record, to the sound, and I start with the sound and I work backwards. So the circuits themselves really are completely unspectacular. The idea is to keep them as basic as possible. The Caught by the Fuzz, if that thing was any simpler, it wouldn't fucking work, quite frankly.
Outstanding. Is that the one that started this whole thing as well? Is that what?
No. It's the 1991 that started this. This came from a drunken challenge from a guy called Matt Webster, who runs the Let's Play All YouTube channel, which is also a grunge covers and demos and does a lot. We became friends because he bought a fuzz pedal off me back when I used to sell other people's stuff. And one night he messaged me after a few drinks and he said, do you reckon, with your contacts, you could get a pedal together that does the sound of Pearl Jam's first album, because the 30th anniversary of the 10 album was coming up. And because I was essentially in a position where I was A, drunk, B, more or less down and out working a full-time job that didn't even pay the bills, and was thinking, fuck, what do I... It was kind of like, well, nothing to lose. Fuck it, I'll do it. Yeah. And of course, my initially completely failed because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But sorry for swearing, by the way.
We coped last time, it's fine.
You have to come with a beat button. But fortunately, through selling other people's pencils, I had some great friends in the industry, like Simon Andrews from JSA and Mark Dunberry from Soundad Liverpool. These are people I still work with today. Mark designs all the PCBs for me because I don't have the skills to do that, and he's the best, so he can do it. Why?
Absolutely, delegate.
I mean, come on there. So thanks to those guys, and just it was one of those passion projects where everyone involved was just like, yeah, this is really cool. There was never any expectation of anything major to come from it. We thought if we can sell, 50 of these, that would be ridiculous and amazing, and then we'll all go back to the day jobs and whatever. Within a week, we had a waiting list of 1,500 people, and I went into my boss and just said, yeah, bye, basically. And I've done that ever since, which is lovely.
Wow. Funny little boxes, check him out. We love them.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you very much. Not at all. So I'm here with Tim Daley Guitar on YouTube. So what's your thing on YouTube, Tim?
It's blues education, but I'm trying to do it in a way that's both educational and entertaining. Right, I've been involved in education all my life. I've been a school teacher for 25 years. So I think it's really important for guitar teachers to know how to teach, not just play guitar.
Sure.
And also I try and do it from... I have a sort of doll on there called Big Jim. So Big Jim sits beside me. He makes silly little comments, so he provides the entertainment while I provide the educational value. So we've got this dichotomy thing going, where he's doing the fun bit and I'm doing the serious bit. But it's also about breaking the mystique down of guitar playing. So I think a lot of guitarists, they'll say, oh, you got to feel it, man, you got to feel it. And I think that's rubbish. You haven't got to necessarily just feel it. There's always ways into things, and some people can't feel it.
Yeah.
And it's about breaking down, explaining how to do it in no-nonsense terms so people can do the things that they've always dreamed of doing.
Yeah, and everyone always has a bit of a Venn diagram where something will become easier to them than others. They'll have their way of learning, their way of playing, the things they rely on. Yeah. And then when those don't work, they haven't got a plan B.
No.
And it's really good to have a couple of plan Bs.
It is.
Whether that's ear training or whether it is sight reading or whether it is having a greater musical vocabulary, being aware of wider listening. Listen to a lot more genres. And either relying on melody or tone or whatever it is. Was there any way into, is there a time when you've had to rely on that, but you're playing, you've realised, there's a gap in my playing and I need to...
I think quite a big one for me was understanding the cage system properly.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because I think cage is talked about very poorly.
I overheard about cage in a guitar shop when I was this will be nearly 20 years ago now, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
That's when I first came across it, but it was hearsay. And I think even online, with online education, it can be hearsay sometimes. How did that help, or what did that realise you were lacking, or how did you...
Well, I think when I first came across keys, I think like everybody, you think it's just about the chords C, A, G, E, D. And right, what do I do with that? Okay, big deal. I move them up and down the neck. Well, how that can be of use to me. But for me, keys encompasses the chords, the triads, the arpeggios. Then the pentatonic scales grow out of that. Then the major and minor scales.
Shapes, right.
Even the modes, it's all the same thing.
Major and minor.
Yeah, but the thing is with Cage, you're coming from the same place. Because you're coming from the same place, it all links together. Rather than learning arpeggio separately, triad separately, then it all becomes disparate, and we don't want that.
Yeah.
We want to be doing... No, and that's what I love about Cage.
8 major scales, that's all we've got, really.
If it's all coming from the same place, it makes a lot more sense.
Is there any trick with that? I know John Mayers, he talks about the equators. Any little tricks like that you found handy?
Well, the one I teach a lot is I'll just show them. Let's say it's like an E-shaped bar chord. So I'm an E-shaped bar chord, and I'll do an exercise where they're just playing the notes out the E-shaped bar chord. Then they're superimposing the pentatonic scale on top of that. Yeah. So that would be position 2 of the major pentatonic. Yeah. Then they're playing that. But I get them to play it, so every time... So there's 2 notes on per each string, isn't there?
Yeah.
So they land on the chord tone.
Yes.
of those two.
And do they notice that, like
Yeah.
consciously remember
Because
that?
that makes you play it in a much more musical way, because
Yeah.
you're always pulling back to chord tones.
100%. Or having a dissonance to the chord tone, like always using the ninth or something.
So yeah.
That's a real trick with solo, especially on blues, isn't it? It works with anything.
And then from there, then they're just playing like the full major scale. So that exercise, I find, is a very powerful exercise.
Sure.
Because you're going from effectively triads to pentatonics to major scale, and you're able to move between those three different areas nice and smoothly. Because
And if-
they're all linked.
And in my opinion, I think you probably agree as well. If a lot of that seems like it would be just pie in the sky, that's way beyond you for now. A great way into it, but using a lot of the same thing, just octaves. Just find all the octaves of one note. Pick an E.
Yeah.
And play an E in as many different places on guitar as you can find.
Yeah, that-
And use any which way to find them.
Yeah.
Even if it's your ear, even if it's sometimes the cheaty ones you might know because it's the 12th fret in standard tuning, stuff like that. Anything works. There's no one way to get to the right answer or anything. And even then, you actually need multiple things that's going to work, because then it helps in any key, any situation, right?
Yeah, I think, multiple systems. I mean, I do love Cage, but sometimes I'll just look at things sporadically. Sometimes I'll go in 3-note per string mode.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go in lick mode. Sometimes I'll go in Stevie Ray Vaughan mode.
Yeah,
and it's
man.
good to have, Ian was saying about different tools in your toolbox. You're
100%.
thinking, I want to perform something. What's the best tool to do that? You grab out of the toolbox, use it, chuck it back, get another one. And you just flit around between all these different tools. And that's a really cool way to do it.
Couldn't agree more. And also wider listening as well. So you're a blues teacher. Underrated blues players we should all be more aware of. Who do you recommend people listen to?
Well, I'm a huge fan of Josh Smith.
Yeah,
I
of course.
absolutely adore Josh
Yeah,
Smith.
yeah.
Because, man, his rhythm is so tight. He's super, super tight. He knows, and he can go off in so many different directions. His understanding the fretboard is just incredible. He does he'll do stuff like the Cornell Dupree stuff, but then he'll go all jazzy. Then he'll go a bit country. He does a lot of hybrid picking stuff. Phenomenal player.
And it's funny, the first thing you mentioned there was rhythm, tight rhythm. Yeah. The only other guitarist that's been mentioned most often today and most in depth is Malcolm Young. Yeah. It's so often people come back to that, and those are people that are really experienced and really know a lot of other flashier players, and they come back to just people with great rhythm.
Yeah, 100. I think rhythm for me is 80% of it.
Yeah.
You've got to have great rhythm. So when people do that outside thing, right?
Yeah.
If you go outside and your rhythm isn't bang on,
Yeah.
it's just not going to work.
Where do you stand on ahead of the beat, behind the beat? Are you rushing or dragging?
Well, Josh is right on the beat.
Right?
He's right on the beat. Now, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that exactness of it, but I also like the Stevie Ray Vaughan thing where you're sitting behind.
So behind the beat. There's no one more behind
Yeah,
Stevie Ray Vaughan, in
no.
my opinion.
And
He's so behind it, he's almost falling over.
He is.
It
But
is crazy.
So I like that. I'm either one or the other, really. But I do like the Josh where he's bang on it.
Yeah.
But also depends on the mood I'm in.
But the instinct of a lot of players, especially when they first start recording yourselves, try it, record yourself, you're probably ahead of the beat.
Yeah.
People are rarely behind the beat when they first start doing it.
Yeah.
You want to pull yourself to being on the beat and then consciously try and be a bit behind it, because then you get the Rolling Stones swagger to your playing.
You do.
And even people like the Hives consciously play behind the beat as a band together. And we're talking like milliseconds here. We're not talking they're playing out of time. It just means when they all hit that chord together and he jumps off the drum riser or into the crowd or anything, it hits so much harder and heavier
Yeah.
because there's a slight delay,
Yes.
and everyone feels it a lot more. And when you're a bit ahead, it always sounds a bit, small room punk band rather than big band punk band.
Just sounds awkward to me.
It can.
Yeah.
It can. And you won't know why until you actually look at it and go, I'm a little bit ahead of the beat. I need to work on my
And
timing.
recorded people. I've got Audacity, and I put a metronome on, so you can see the metronome. Recorded them playing and said, "Look, that's where you are. That's where you're playing."
Yeah, look at
and
it.
then they can see it.
Give the visual.
Yeah,
Yeah, you do.
that's
The
a
visual
really good
reference
thing.
really helped me.
Yeah.
I had no idea about this stuff till I started literally recording me along to tracks and looking at it.
Yeah, well, you can't argue with that, can you?
But then also going, well, you can't put a metronome to a lot of Rolling Stones songs and stuff. And you're like, well, why is that? In fact, a lot of Mark Bolan used to play a lot of stuff to a click track, just even on electric or acoustic.
Right.
And he'd get the click track to speed up.
Oh.
So it would sound like a live thing.
records that do that.
Yeah, Pulp's Common People speeds up.
But I was telling
Sounds exciting.
Josh Smith said he's never used the metronome. Yeah,
Right, that's incredible.
Ludicrous.
Do you think he's just naturally talented, or do you think that's one thing that he's always paying attention to?
I think it's because he's played since he was the age of 6. He's played in live bands. And the one thing he does, he says, when he picks up guitar, he never noodles. When he picks up a guitar, the first thing he thinks of is 1, 2, 3. So he's always playing to a rhythm. So that rhythm's in his head all the time.
Yeah, sure. Like the Angus Young thing, right? Where Angus Young, literally the whole gig, unless he's doing the dot walk or something.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1,
Yes.
2, 3, 4. Best rhythm section that you've ever known, and everyone says Malcolm up, but Angus is there too, and he's literally doing this the whole goddamn gig.
Absolutely right.
He's got the count out of his head. He's in his body.
Because that rhythm has to be within you. So and kids, some of the kids I teach, they're not moving enough. I said, you've got to move. And they said,
tap your feet.
They say, which bit of me needs to move? I said, all of you. All of you needs to move. You need to feel
Don't stand
internally, totally. Everything needs to move.
Be in your body when you're playing. It's when you're used to playing sat down and literally most of your body is just turned off and you're just moving your arms. When you're playing stood up, tap a foot and make that the most natural thing in the world. And be able to keep that going to a reasonable tempo while being able to hold a conversation is a really good skill.
Yeah, it is.
Practice even without guitar. Because
We could do it now while we're chatting.
Of course, yeah.
That rhythm going.
I'll do the 2 and 4. You do the 1.
2, 4, 2.
He's good.
4, 2, 3, 4,
1,
2, 4.
A lot of people watching will struggle to do that, especially as a pair, and it's a perfect little exercise. There you go, good man. Hey, wonderful to chat with you. We'll leave all the links on screen and links down in the description of all this stuff.
Nice one.
To follow some people to you. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
We're at Winyard Guitars. T-style guitars, but 2 pickups. What? So, Fraser, you checked these out at the
the Oxfordshire Guitar Show. Yeah.
What did you like about it?
I mean, immediately, I looked on the website before, so I saw Stealthcaster. I was kind of a little bit aware, but as soon as we got talking to Guy and he started to explain the hidden magic behind these guitars,
Get a good close-up.
That's when everything kind of became very illuminated. It's a bit of a genius idea, inspired by what was kind of not a genius idea with the Esquire. He made something of it, and I think that's really just unique. Right?
Very good.
Yeah.
Guy, good to see you, man. Are we all right to just start filming so that everything we get, we can go for it?
All right.
Cool?
Yeah. We're back again.
Indeed, man, yeah. We're all right. We're all right.
No.
Well, we didn't have to be here as early as you did. So
I was going to say,
we took advantage.
Nothing a couple of guitars can't solve anyway, so make us feel better. Yeah.
So you spoke to Fraser at the Oxfordshire Guitar Show. We know a little bit about these guitars.
Yeah.
But these have set a fire amongst our members of our website. You've had one sale already, but I'll be honest, a few of them were scrambling about it. Why do you think these things are so popular amongst, what's the unique thing about them? What drew you to making these guitars? What do you think's special about them?
I was mentioned to you, I was in the States, you find something called a Fender Stealth Esquire, which had the same pickup arrangement hidden under the pick guard. But
this is gorgeous, by the way.
The pickups didn't work
You mind, Fraser?
particularly effectively. So we did that. Generally, people walk into a guitar shop, don't they? There are 1,000 guitars, and there'll be 8 or 10 that they like the look of. Mm-hmm. So you got to make something that it gets people's attention a little bit. So whilst they're inspired by Fender, I'm using 1 or 2 fancy pick guards, the level of relicking, things that just get people's attention. And then if they're 8 and 10 out of 1,000, you pick them up and go, that's too heavy, or I don't like that. Or you narrow it down. So then there'll be 2 or 3 guitars out of 1,000, and then you plug them in. And that's probably the bit you can influence a bit with changing electronics and pickups. But by then, you've fallen in love with these 2 or 3 guitars, haven't you? So it's just a question of which one you want to afford, or which other ones you want to trade in to make that happen. So I tend to try and make them look interesting, feel good. I spend a day on frets.
Yeah, gotcha.
So just making sure that when you pick it up and play it, it's like, that feels nice, played in, really smooth. So I'll take it to about 12,000 grit, which is like glass. The next grit would actually be photocopier paper.
Wow.
That's all smooth.
That's when you get that buttery smooth fret, and that's what you want.
And that's perhaps one of the differences between a boutique luthier versus something that's off the shelf that might even be at the same price point as well. And of course, in case people aren't aware, this has another pickup under here. What are the pickups again? Bare knuckle?
Yeah, so on stock guitars, I tend to use bare knuckle because we spent a couple of years working out the best way to do it. So this has just got the one under there, but that's got 2 strap coils. So you get a 5-way switch. The one end you got telly twang, and the other end you got all that silky Strat stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're in a cult classic rock covers band or a wedding band, there's a few more things that you can get out of what looks like ostensibly a one pickup guitar.
Yeah.
And you say there's some tech wizardry here, because this isn't an easy thing to do. You can't just take a pickup and put it under there. There's some compensation.
There's a sort of simple level where you can just put a high power pickup under there, but it just doesn't sound very good.
Especially compared to the other one, perhaps, like the balancing.
Well, you can kind of balance them, but if you've got a Strat pickup that's like a high, 15 DC or something, it's like a metal pickup. And then you're putting it away from the strings, it just loses a bit of clarity, loses a bit of just all those things that you like. So, working with bare knuckle to get a few flavors that worked. One of which is a really low output pickup, interestingly, but it's got a high peak resonance.
Right.
So it actually works really nicely under there.
So I got some custom PAF pickups, which are a bit underwound.
Nice.
And when I was first learning guitar, as probably when you were as well, high output pickups are all the rage. Like higher output is
DiMaggio super distortion.
Exactly, all of this.
Fingers give
heavier is better, louder is better. Yeah. The noise wall with the mastering and stuff was all the rage. And he says, no, the clarity you get with a little bit of underwound, he's a bit secretive with it, but this is a big thing. And that's what I hear is, there's more than one way to skin a cat, I guess.
Yeah,
and there's a lot more variety you can get with, smaller variations. It's not about reinventing the wheel with guitars, is it, sometimes? We all like what we like, but the little difference.
I think I've put a slightly different tyre on the wheel.
I think you've done a lot more than that. I mean, look at these finishes. Let me ask you, which has been the most popular colour finish? Have we got one here, or is it?
People who love Blackguard, butterscotch.
Yeah, I mean,
I've
you got Keith Richards and Bruce Springsteen with that, haven't you? P90 type pickup in that one, though?
Yes, again.
What's the thinking of that?
Just a little bit different, or a little more grit.
Yeah.
Than
just a
I
single.
won't put anything in.
The best pickup, if I may say, in my opinion.
Does a bit of everything.
I just think, it does everything. Yeah, a bit of everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's. And it gives it a nice look. I love the look of a P90.
You, I don't know if you have a bit of a name drop, but I saw on your Instagram that someone rather cool has one of your guitars. That very cool black one that you had. Who was it? Was it? It wasn't Adam. No, it wasn't Adam. What was the guitar?
Steve Fox Harris from Gary Newman Band was playing one at Glastonbury.
That was it.
He's playing one of my J6s.
Just last week.
More or less the same one that Chris Robertson from Blackstone Cherry uses.
Oh, on Blackstone Cherry, yeah.
He's got an Evertune bridge that I put in there.
Yes, and you swear by them, don't you?
I mean, incredible, man.
I've personally never played one, but I know that they do the job and they stay in tune forever.
Yeah, they do. It's like
yeah.
Don't know if I can see one here.
And they don't even look
the
bad.
Black one was my partner's favourite. I think I like the wood one.
So yeah, the one Steve was playing at Glastonbury, it's got the standard shallow bridge, which I like as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was one volume and a 3-way switch with a coil split. Yeah. So even though it's got the second humbucker, you can run it as 2 single coils. So it's got a couple of subtler things going on, but it's a machine of rock without a doubt. It's certainly suited up industrial gothic Gary Newman.
That's fantastic.
Flavor.
And give us a shout out to, both 2000 Trees, which we had at both the panels.
Yeah, 2000 Trees. Bloody brilliant.
Fantastic festival. But also your AC/DC tribute band. What's their name and where do you guys play?
We are Soulstripper, the finest, second greatest rock and roll band
Great
in the world. Well, it's a very old AC/DC song that people don't really know unless you're an enthusiast.
And you did the Malcolm Young.
So I play, I'm the Malcolm Young of the band.
What is it that draws you to Malcolm, and also what's made you go, what about your journey of tone hunting?
It's only a few chords, people say, but it's when you lock in with a drummer and bass player, It's just the most fun music to play.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Most solid ribbon section that's ever
there's
been.
That groove. There's that groove when you
But
hit
with a
it.
swing to it. It's just,
Yeah.
it's got a boogie to it.
Yeah.
And dynamics we were talking. So you went on a bit of an amp journey to get a better, more authentic mouth
Yeah,
sound,
I
didn't you?
did. So I did all the research on what he used, and he used a Marshall Bassman amp, but with an extra valve fitted on the input section. So he got a bit more clarity and warmth because it was a bass amp, but he got a bit more sizzle because he'd had it modded with this extra valve.
Yeah.
And then the only thing that I really found, so I wanted it light and small as well. I don't want to carry something that big anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I discovered something called a Victory Super Kraken, which is technically a metal amp. It's got a clean channel, which is beautiful. And it's got some gain on there, and it's got a master volume, and it's got a little tube screamer type switch. So it's got 3 or 4 levels where you can dial in a bit of sizzle.
But different. So do you use that on a... Do you use a pedal switcher for those, even for AC/DC, or do you set in one?
I tend to set it up pretty clean, but with lots of headroom, so you can... It's then very sensitive to the volume.
Volume control.
And I do have a line 6.
And you're picking as well.
So I've got a few extra little boosts if I need it. But I don't, once you get it right, it kind of sits in the mix and that's it. There's no lead to worry about.
Yeah.
There are 1 or 2 bits where it sort of drops into a middle of bad boy boogie where you're just clunking.
Yeah.
And I sometimes give that a bit of boost because hitting people in the chest then, that's just the best thing ever. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Great fun.
So yeah, if you're in the Midlands and want to see a great band, come and see us. Soulstripper. Find us on Facebook.
Yeah.
We recommend, man. That's great. Thank you.
Amazing.
With us, guys.
I'll see you, man.
Soon. I'm here at the Brighton Guitar Show with Stone Angels. Guys, how are you doing?
Good, man. Yeah, really good. Thank you.
Indeed. Tell us about it. This is the first European gig you've done, big festival?
Yeah, first European festival, and it's a big one. It was a big one. Playing Summerside Festival over in Switzerland, as I'm fully summer-sided up at the moment.
Indeed, man.
Playing with Billy Idol in Europe and all fantastic bands. Raw Republic, Dream Theater, play, and then there's just us. Yeah, and then there's just us.
No, man, play rocking out. You guys are great. You're a Les Paul player. Well, tell me about the guitars that you play.
I'm running 2 Les Pauls at the moment.
Same time? I mean, we've all got 2 hands, haven't we? So,
Exactly. My main one is my Les Paul Custom in Arctic White.
It is R2R?
Yeah.
Is that because of Thunder or is that because of Justin Hawkins?
Yes.
Yes. Right answer.
Both of those, yeah. And my other Les Paul is a standard. It's just standard, but it's one of the 70s reissue that used to belong to Rich Ward of Fozzy.
Wow.
Jericho's band. Yeah,
I do.
Yeah. Bought that a few years ago off the man himself. So he's done many things to it over the years. Had like Piezzo in it and all of this kind of thing. All this crazy stuff.
Butchered it, but made it sweet.
Yeah. But that's what I'm rocking nowadays, yeah.
Outstanding. How about yourself?
So I just play through my 70s P bass as the main bass man of Stone Angels. It's my most go-to. I've got a Thunderbird as well. It's gorgeous Tokai made in Korea.
Yeah.
But my 70s P bass is my go-to. Such a workhorse. Thing. And it just goes to show what you can do with the Squire sometimes.
Yeah, and it sits in the mix and everything. It's really great. What else is coming up for you guys this year?
We've got, what is it?
You've had some new releases this year, haven't you?
Yes, we've just fully released the album Up in Smoke, out now on all digital media platforms, or you can buy it direct from us online. There we go, get the plug in there. Later on this year, we're going to do some shows with a band from Germany called Sweet Electric.
Happy day.
They're fantastic. We're going to be playing, for me, it's a big thing to play there. We're going to play at the Cart and Horses in London, if you know about that.
I don't know that one.
It is the birthplace of Iron Maiden.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. That's where they started. Oh, sorry. Oh.
Thank you. Not at all.
We'll move out of the way.
Yeah, there we go.
We're doing some shows with them, and then we've got some shows in November with a band from Italy called Venus Mountains. Yeah. We played with them many, many years ago, did a little mini tour with them. They're a bunch of fun guys, and they're coming back over to here, and they're going, do you want to come and do some more shows with us? So we're going to go play with them as well. And we're going to try and get back in the writing and get putting out more music.
Outstanding. Yeah. I have a question I'm going to be asking everyone today, I say this weekend, but today. Oasis or Black Sabbath?
Black Sabbath.
Why?
The riffs.
The riffs.
Have you heard them? Oh yeah, all about the riff.
I have heard them.
And even though
Ozzy
has said he's directly influenced by the Beatles, at least Sabbath aren't ripping them off.
They're the OGs, aren't they? I mean, can you talk about that? What influence have they had on you? If it's those riffs, I mean, there's some influence of that on Stone Angels and your playing, I think.
It's the riffs, the down tuning as well.
Right, gotcha.
Because obviously with Iommi and his fingers, that's where he developed his own way.
Thinner strings.
Yeah, and down tuning to make it easier on himself.
And that becoming a key factor of the sound, it gives you that sort of really loose, and the down tuning with that is huge. There you go. One for Black Sabbath so far.
All about the metal.
Absolutely. Now we're excited to see what the footage is going to look like tonight with the it's the Metal Live Aid. Yes. It's going to be exciting, man. Stone Angels, check them out. I'm here with Mike from Play to All. Mike, how are you? We're at the Brighton Guitar Show.
Good, excellent. Great to be here. Excellent show, plenty going on, lots to see, and I've done quite a few of these over the years.
Indeed.
A few hundred with various hats I've worn over the time. I'm less
coming back from all.
Absolutely. I'm doing a bit at the moment with Winyard Guitars, a very fine custom UK guitar maker. Worked with a number of guitar companies over the years. I was product manager for Galley and Kruger amps for a long time. Worked with various companies on launching new products. We launched Jackson guitars in the UK in the 1980s. Yeah. I'm not a young man.
But you're a blues guitarist as...
Yes. I play out my days with blues guitars. But what I've got involved in the last sort of 18 months, 2 years, is a realization that people think that the shortfalls we've got with venues and the situations with playing live music has retracted, and it's just been financial. It's because things have got expensive, people can't afford to go out. Not necessarily the case. We've got a huge amount of lapsed people who've not come back after the dreaded COVID. Mm-hmm. And also we have people who are less able than they were because we're an aging population. There's the vulnerable who see the press on the TV and are worried about going out late and stuff like that. And obviously the single women who don't, statistically in cities, single women don't leave their houses after 7 p.m. at night, all age groups. 4 out of 5 won't do it, typically. So what we've kind of had a situation with the Play to All situation is we have simple, basic ground rules of what Play to All suggests we should have. In other words, number one would be accessible seating. Now, that's not necessarily wheelchair access space, because that should technically already be there. It's things like having a little bit of seating they can pull out or pre-book for people who need it. And there's no such thing now as an all-standing venue. We don't mind there being all-standing performances. Of course, there has to be in a lot of cases. But an all-standing, strictly all-standing, we're trying to make that taboo. Number two would be, very simply, you've got your doors open at 7. Performance starts at 7:30 on most tickets and most websites. What we need to see is closing time. Quite simply just that, closing time. So people can pre-arrange, safe, reliable, or at least know when the transport should come. So they can be collected, they can make arrangements. They're not stuck out in the town late at night and not stuck somewhere. That's number two. Number three, it's easier to explain number three as a very loose form community engagement. Not a case of having to have all the different people in your venue every night of the week, not having to change your music program, but we just summarize it as one world, one gig. So that means whoever you stood next to at a gig, you're not really checking their religion, their race, their age, their gender. You are looking at the fact you're both shouting for the same band or both in the same area, and you can get together, and it's a great united force, uniting people in this terrible times of troubles. So that's what Play to All is. It's very simple. It's totally volunteer run. It's run out of Hackins Hay in Liverpool in L2. But it's UK-wide, right through Scotland. It's been launched in March last year, Scotland, also Wales. We did a launch in the Midlands in Birmingham. And we run, as I say, totally independently. We're not a registered CIC or charity. It's just industry volunteers. And we have a logo that we like people to show. And most importantly, to share social media tags, #PlayToAll. The more that gets around, the more people use that, the more people will understand. And they will follow it and see it. And they will realise what we do. We haven't the logistics and the financial outlay to run TV ads and big editorials. We do get a lot of editorial support from the magazines. We're very grateful of that, and also online support. And we run our own. We go in with a couple of people who do special open mic nights, and we talk about it. I personally go on the road now and do 20-minute spots before some of the bigger shows. I used to do supports on tours. Nowadays, I do 15, 20 minutes chat and play. So I just talk about it a little bit, play a few songs, ask them what they want to hear, and just get people into the play to all thing. We don't want to make it regulatory. That's what we don't want to do. We don't want to make it regular. We've got on the playtoall.uk, which is this site, the playtoall.uk, there is a directory listings of about 50 or 60 people who are on board with us at the moment as venues. It'll boost to about 100 in September. And then we at various festivals during the year, like Colne Blues, Africa Oye last year, one of the really big cultural festivals. They have logos on. They have people involved who know what we're doing. As simple as that, really.
That's amazing. And I think we both, therefore, really believe in the power of live music, how inspiring that can be. I do YouTube for a living, but there's nothing more inspiring than a live concert. Is there anything, perhaps, people who would like to go to gigs but don't get to as many as they want to? Is there anything you think they're afraid of that they shouldn't be, and anything that they can do?
Yes, I think these days, I mean, the obvious one is things like strobe lighting or not being able to sit down. On the play to all, you can sit down. What a lot of people have put now is they actually put an advert where there is strobe lighting involved, and that might be a situation. Sure. Also, the other thing is a myth that needs dispelling straight away. We try not to use the word bouncer. Yeah. Because bouncer went out with the 80s. Yeah. The new man, security or door supervisor or venue assistant. And what those people do now, and we've watched them in places, there's a place in Liverpool we watched in Matthew Street, where the security are watching the older people coming in, they're watching them leave, and they're often following them out to make sure they leave safely, that nothing happens to them when they're in the street and they can get to their transport. That's a whole new part of the job. It's no longer, pushing people downstairs and
you can't come in with trainers and stuff.
Yeah, mate, that's long gone. I mean, people can even wear baseball caps now, you know.
That's good to hear. Thank you so much for talking with us, Mike. I think that's a wonderful thing that you do, and it's something that it sounds like I'm exactly the kind of thing that I want to support. We need more people to keep live music alive, because otherwise there will be very few gigs left, and that would be a very sad thing.
It's a part of our culture. It's a very important part of why people come to Britain. You see Matthew Street with the Beatles situation there. It's a very big part. People will give up whole weeks of their lives to do that. And it gives us something for the future. You know, we can keep doing AI, we can keep making bits and pieces of music. I mean, there's nothing wrong with computer music at all. But the situation is, if we can generate something kind of played organically from an instrument, and it's a great relaxation tool, it's also a great learning tool for kids. It gets them off the screens.
And them talking to other people that they meet at gigs and excited about.
Exactly. That's a community engagement. We're losing the community engagement in Britain, and we need to get it back. Yeah.
Totally agree. Play to all. Check him out. Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you to Fraser for helping me out today and for making the long journey down from Leeds. That's worth around the building as well. Thanks to Andrew for filming. Thank you guys for helping on the tech. Thank you for you guys for staying. It's a long day. These are quite tiring things when you're doing it all. So thank you so much for coming. But again, it's not about me. This Brighton Guitar Show is something I'm really pleased to support. I'm going to be making some videos about it. I'm going to be promoting it. I think it's a fantastic thing. And biased because it's on my doorstep. But I really only think that there's really no other better show than this in the UK for what it does with clinics and the mix of people in there from well-known brands to up-and-coming ones. It's a really magical thing, so I'm happy to support it. Thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.